Greetings, Missouri Mid-South Conference. I bring you greetings briefly from my conference office in St. Louis. On Tuesday night, I will be returning home to Houston, where I'll be working for the week in my home office. Except on Wednesday, you need to know that I will be taking part in the wonderful parts of our democracy, which is I have been summoned for jury duty in Houston, Texas. It just happened that I was going to be home, and so on Wednesday I will not have access to my email and phone so that I can take part, hopefully, in this wonderful aspect of being a citizen in the United States and doing jury duty. I don't know about you, but for me, having that experience of the possibility of serving on a jury really is the tangible expression of our democracy and the goodness and in the injustice and dysfunction of our democracy. But to have that opportunity to serve with fellow neighbors in my community reminds me of our humanity on our good day. It also is very important to me that it just happens that the day that I'm summoned for jury duty is also September 11th. And as we all remember, September 11th was a terrible day in the life of the United States and the terrorist attacks that took so many lives and took our breath away in terms of the violence that was enacted and the violence that we have enacted because of that as well. I know that there is an organization that formed out of that terrible tragedy, the 9/11 Day of Service and Remembrance, with the goal to make sure that all of us not only remember and honor those who lost their lives and those who have family members who died in the terrorist attacks, but also to commit ourselves to serve one another in our communities and in the wider good of our country. The organization that formed this 9/11 Day of Service and Remembrance said this: "Our goal is to keep alive the spirit of unity and compassion that arose in the immediate aftermath of the September 11th attacks, in tribute to the individuals lost and injured in the attacks and the many who rose in service in response." I really appreciate this because for all of us, September 11th was humanity on its worst day. That we experienced the violence and the hatred and the fear and the evil that comes when we let our fear and our hatred control us. And what 9/11 also illuminated was humanity in its best moment, which is that when we suffer and when we are in pain, we also have the capacity within us to open ourselves and to help others. We all remember the images of the people who were running into the building as the plane had gone into the building to make sure that they could help as many people as possible. And so this day on September 11th is a day not only to remember and to honor those who died, but also to commit ourselves to serving our neighbors and our community, our nation, and the wider good, to remind ourselves and commit ourselves that humanity on its worst day can never have the last say, because humanity on its best day is about service, is about compassion, is about love. So I will be offering that service through jury duty. I hope that you and your families will do some expression of service, whether that is volunteer for Meals on Wheels or food pantry, or to write letters and draw pictures with your children and grandchildren to give to firefighters and police officers and those who commit their lives to serving and making better our communities, our nation, and our world. This is the way in which we are sharing vital communion in the midst of the toughest moments of humanity, that God calls us to share God's love with compassion, service, and goodness for all, this day and forevermore. Amen.